I can always see my writing here, you know, my description, but no one else can see it. Hello, Agent X. Agent X, are you a moderator? If you are, can you please stick this stream into the old stream, please? As I couldn't start using the stream that I wanted to use, but it's still open. Just in case any person is there waiting for me to start the stream, as I've started this stream now. Oh, you're not a mod? Oh, shit.
But there'll be stuff going on.
YouTube land.
YouTube land. I'll give you a bit of talk.
Okay, Agent X, I think you are... We'll go for a little walk in a little while. I'm next to another few YouTubers. Let's give them a shout. First off, we got what's his name? Actual interview. We got Independent Free Press 1916, and we've also got two boomers here. Shout out to these guys.
I'm like, turn right. Please turn right. When they go straight, you know you're in for a long walk.
Hendon. Hello, Hendon Enterprises seems to be full of tourists not knowing what they're doing. They've come to see the new restoration of Big Ben. Hello. So far, what we got? We're at 11:30. Yeah, Hendon. Oh, wind noise. Sorry, guys. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a microphone with me today. My one broke. Yeah. I've seen a few live streamers already. Hendon, you like to clip? Do you want to clip that bit of interaction that I had with that popper? I want to see what improvements I can do for next time. I'm not too worried about the music. I prefer the music. I don't want to make any money from a protest. Well, YouTube don't even monetize YouTube a protest video, so I don't mind the copyright because it'd just be a warning. It won't. It's not a strikeable offense. So they don't monetize the video, the live stream. So it doesn't matter if there's copyrighted music.
seen it for a while actually. Yeah.
We free? I don't think we're free. We're still being governed. We're still being told what to do. Soon the tax rate is going to be going up. Soon food prices are going to be going up. Soon there's going to be shortages of food. Soon there's going to be cuts of electricity. Who knows what's going to happen? The future freedom for our kids, you know. Yes. Either maybe if 5 million of the UK citizens was to meet up here in Parliament Square, 5 million of us, I think that's enough for a statement, isn't it? If we all grab some water balloons and throw it towards Parliament and Downing Street, it will show Boris and the government, you know, next time it won't be water bottles, water balloons. Mickey Mouse, hello mate. I'm using a different platform to stream. Usually I use the YouTube streaming service. However, YouTube haven't been really nice to me, so I've used another platform. Yep. We are also asking people to organise local vigils and or take part in 24-hour fasts from whenever they can. Yep. I think that should be introduced. Fasts, you know. Stop ourselves from all our bad habits, you know. Stop ourselves from drinking that crap alcohol and those drugs that they sell in Tesco's and Iceland's and Lidl's, so-called sweets. What do we want? The government signed the Paris Climate Agreement in 2015 and has since spent £13.6 billion on fossil fuel subsidies. As carbon emissions continue to rise, they have given permission to many new fossil fuel projects, including coal mining in Wales, and have 40 more in the pipeline. Alongside other campaigning groups, we are asking the government to immediately cease all future licenses for the exploration, development and production of fossil fuels in the UK. And who are they? They are ordinary people from different political, philosophical and faith backgrounds. We united in our belief that we need to move beyond our dependence on fossil fuels such as coal, oil, gas as fast as possible. We stand in solidarity with those in the global south who have done the least to contribute to the climate emergency and who are already suffering the most. So this is the last part. How can you help them? We believe that people come together. We have the power to effect change. Come and join our vigils, even if it's only 10 minutes. All are welcome. It also says wear warm clothes and bring a camping chair to sit if you want to. Also take part in the 24-hour fast from wherever you are. And here's their sign, guys. You can Great. I'll be back in a bit. So this is Parliament, guys. An unused gate. We've got the bagpipes. I love the bagpipes. Big up to the Scottish. Big up Scotland and Ireland. Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland. Big up Wales. Big up England as well. Oh yeah, drummer would be great. Yeah, drummer and a bagpipe, fantastic. Let's get the wide shot, guys.
Okay, no money.
surrounded by the good company of like-minded souls, and means knowing that because we've lived under tyranny in a master-slave society for so long, there are so many ways in which to fight an absolute focus only on current injustices. That you forget everything else that makes the world an unfair place to live in. This is not easy, as indeed gaining or fighting back for any kind of freedom ever is, because it requires not only researching what one may not yet know, but actually taking steps to change a number of key lifestyles choices which may seem insignificant on a individual basis, but which, if enough of us took the trouble to change, we may all actually stand a chance against such tyranny. A number of suggestions of what to do in order to give the masters a run for their money can be found in the next or back of this page. The process won't be easy for everyone because it requires accepting the following. We all want to live forever. But we don't want to change. But we don't want to age. We want to know everything, but we don't want to open our minds. We want to avoid pain, but we don't know why pain occurs. We want freedom, but we don't know what to do with it, or we abuse it. We all want light, but are afraid to face the dirt that light reveals.
Hi guys, thank you so much for coming out here today for a worldwide rally for freedom. We are protesting with hundreds of countries worldwide today. This is such a special day as we stand here in resistance, showing a stand of solidarity. Now, we are here for the children. We're here to stand up for them. This is why we're here today, and we're here to say no to the policing bill and no to the online harms bill. Thank you all for coming out. We're so happy to have you! Today is going to be an amazing day as we are here to make a stand, to say to the British government, we have had enough of this, and that coronavirus jabs for children and under 18s must be scrapped immediately. And we are standing here today.
Hello, Nigel.
Together. It has been an amazing 2 years. 2 years of freedom fighting. And I'm so grateful to know each and every single one of you. I know most of you here today, and I love you all. Thank you so much for coming today and being part of the global movement. Did you guys know that we are part of the biggest global movement in history? And if it wasn't for us, we would still be in lockdown. So give yourselves a pat on the back, guys! Yeah! Make some noise for freedom, people! Make some noise! We're making noise for freedom! Because in the draconian policing bill, they do not want static rallies. And this is why we're having one today. They don't want us making noise. This bill has gone back and forth from the House of Commons to the House of Lords. And they rejected it. So right now it's in ping pong. So this bill could become law unless we take a stand and make noise. And that's why we're here in Parliament Square today.
Whoa.
What an amazing day it's going to be today. We've got some great speakers who are going to empower you here today. So before we get to the amazing people, I'm just going to say to you guys, I am inspired by every single one of the amazing people in this movement. I am inspired by the Outreach Worldwide groups, and I'm so grateful
Agent
to
X.
know every single one of you. We
Cheers,
have to understand,
Agent
guys,
X.
it is not over yet. We have not won this battle yet, and we will keep going till the
Appreciate
very,
that,
very
Agent X.
end. As narratives change, as new
I
laws,
love Japan.
narratives
24
come about, we have to
shields.
stay ready
They
for
do
the
need to
fight.
be exposed.
We have to stay in our groups, and we have to stay ready for action, because we have got to fight the Great Reset and the digital ID. We have to say no to the online harms bill, which wants to criminalise so-called anti-vax speech with up to 2 years in prison. We have got to say no to that, and that is why we're here today, standing for the children and for our freedom and human rights. So right now, they are currently jabbing 5 to 11-year-olds, and in New York they're testing these jabs on babies up to as young as 6 months, and we can't tolerate that. We have got to be strong, and we've got to fight for our kids, and we've got to fight for our human rights, because we have not won this war. So we have got to keep strong. We've got to protect our children from these jabs, protect our children from sexual abuse. We need to keep them safe. And I'm standing here today as a survivor, telling you people we need to protect our children urgently. This is a war on our rights, and we have to keep protesting, keep doing your local resistance. So I ask all of you, please get involved in local resistance, get involved in your outreaches, and to all those who say that protests don't work, if they didn't work, then why would they put in the policing bill? We are strong and we are one, and we have to understand something. God has not given us a spirit of fear. He has given us the spirit of power. He has given us the spirit to be warriors, and that is why we're here today. We are all warriors, and I love every single one of you. So let's make some noise today! Let's make some noise today! Let's make some noise! Thank you so much, guys, for being here! So right now, I'm going to introduce an amazing woman, a photojournalist, a speaker, and most of all, a mom. Please welcome to the stage, Heidi! Give us a round of applause! This woman's amazing!
Hiya! I'm slightly overwhelmed because the guy from the BBC told me he's going to be telling you here today, and it's really tough. Am I right? Can you hear me now? Yeah? Good. Right, I'm doing... Oh, sorry. Right, who's that woman speaking, I hear you ask? I'm not famous, I'm not well known, I'm just an ordinary woman who wants a future for her family. I'm a mother who's sick to death of all the virtue signalling, the lies, the hypocrisy, the compliance, and I can't tell you how glad I am to see the back of those mask on, mask off magic chairs. That behaviour was never about a virus, it was always about compliance. And that compliance is the reason over the last 2 years we've slowly but surely lost the social aspects of humanity. The most important things, the socialisation, the family, the touching, the facial expressions,
unfortunately
sitting
I
with our
can't.
loved ones if they're unwell in hospital,
I've got a
advocating on
bike
their
with
behalf, celebrating life events, eating together, laying our loved ones to rest and hugging each other. Don't think for 1 minute that this government has scrapped the jab mandate. They've simply put it aside and hidden it under the smokescreen of the Ukraine, where old rich men get richer on the fat of war and poor young men get killed.
Thank you for joining the stream, guys.
Distracted by COVID, the Ukraine and the rising cost of living, the government are trying to push through the online safety bill, making provisions to criminalise anyone who spreads disinformation. In other words, anyone who speaks against the mainstream narrative. Then there's the police crime sentencing and courts bill, which could potentially strip us of our rights to protest. And last but not least, the proposal to revise the Human Rights Act and replace it with a Bill of Rights. A Bill of Rights which will subjugate our individual freedoms to the wider public interest, including mandatory vaccine in the case of a pandemic or similar. If we lose our right to protest, our human rights, or especially our bodily autonomy, we will be nothing more than slaves to the state. The government will be able to dictate what goes into our bodies and the bodies of our children. Unless the reforms to the Act are thrown out and actively opposed by all of us, we will lose our freedoms on a scale never seen before. Proposed changes seek to give courts the power to say that we are not entitled to our human rights unless they decide our behaviour has been good enough. All future governments will be beyond public scrutiny. They're trying to make themselves unaccountable and untouchable. Not all wars are fought with bombs, and silence nor compliance will protect us.
Yep,
While we
sovereign
have
draft.
eyes on the Ukraine, we have totalitarianism in action right here in the UK. The government and the controlled opposition are power-grabbing tyrants. Here we are, witnessing worldwide collaboration to vaccinate everyone on the planet. We're seeing billions spent on weapons for war, yet we've never been able to collaborate to feed starving people. The day that one person on this planet died with or of Omicron, an average of 21,653 people died of starvation on the same day. There are thousands of elderly people who die from cold in their own homes every year in the UK, regardless of which political party you're in. This is not about health or humanity. Pfizer, BioNTech and Moderna will make pre-tax profits of 34 billion this year between them. That's 93 million a day. I don't see any of this going to help the overwhelmed healthcare systems or to better the lives of the people starving to death or the elderly. Yet still people question why we come here to protest. Don't ever let anyone tell you protests don't make a difference, because they do. Protests are where we meet people in person, where meetings are organised, leaflets are given out, information is shared. They show us how much can be achieved through grassroots movements. They're a place to spend time with like-minded people. You can't violate community standards here. They can't deceive on your account. There are no fact checkers. None of the "you can't post for 90 days" nonsense. Protests are a refill of hope. They show us that we are not alone. Way back in 1865 America, slavery was abolished. It was abolished thanks to grassroots movements like the Underground Railroad and incredible people like Harriet Tubman. 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed in the US after years of protest and turmoil because of people like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks and the Freedom Riders. Right now, all over the world, grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of the people murdered during the Holocaust are alive today because of the resistance, because of ordinary people that stood up and refused to comply.
Oh, right.
Today,
You're
have
here,
the
yeah?
right to vote thanks to the sacrifices of the suffragettes and their sheer determination.
I'm on a bike
Every single one
with
of
a
those
green
people
box
resisting were
behind
attacked,
it.
arrested, imprisoned, ignored, vilified, and ridiculed by the mainstream media for fighting what turned out to be the right side of history. They literally changed the world. They never gave up. No matter how many corners they were pushed into, they pushed back harder. What would our world look like today without those people? All of those stories are confined to the history books now, but it wasn't always that way. Those histories were made by ordinary people doing extraordinary things. By people saying enough is enough. People like us. We've been holding the line for exactly 725 days today, but we cannot afford to drop our guard until the Corona Act itself is condemned to history and the reforms to the human movements are growing. All of us here today are making history. We're writing our own stories. We are the pushback. We are the Martin Luther Kings. We are the suffragettes. We are the resistance. We are the small fringe minority with unacceptable views. We are the freedom fighters of 2022. This is history in the making, and we are on the right side. Thank
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Heidi. What an amazing woman! Wow, you're like a library. Thank you. So right now, we have got a very, very special guest, and he has come all the way from Northern Ireland. He works for advocacy rights. His name is Dan Ansell, and we thank you so much for coming. He has done so much work against these jabs for children, and he is going to tell us all about what he's doing. So make some noise for this hero!
So I'm aware I'm from Belfast, I say Belfast in Northern Ireland, so I'm very aware to speak very slowly so everyone can understand. Okay, so thanks very much, Fiona. I'm not a lawyer. 2 years ago I didn't think I'd be in this position, but the past 2 years have shown us that we're going to be in a position that we thought we would be in, but here we all are.
Yes, Hendon.
Just as we stand outside the statue of Gandhi, I'd like to say a wee quote. You assist an evil system most effectively by obeying its orders and decrees. An evil system never deserves such allegiance. Allegiance to it means partaking of that evil system. A good person will resist with their whole soul. Gandhi. And we will resist. So how did we end up here? The government, using policy and guidance, along with fear and high emotional messaging, managed to get many to hand over their power. Power we never had to hand over in the first place. And we believed we needed to, but we didn't. They used language to confuse us and lawful words to manipulate us. They made us vulnerable. We all need to become our own lawyers. Yes, with some guidance from people like yourselves in Advocacy Rights Network, but we all need to learn this. And able to say to these schools, politicians and police, no, you don't get to do that. Where do you get the authority to do that? ARN was founded on the back of realising what our government was doing and felt the need to step in and help interpret this and help empower people by putting together legal toolkits. We provided legal toolkits for the people of Northern Ireland in regards to face masks. We even had a way around the digital IDs, all within the law. Okay, so unless you know the law, this is where they had us tricked. We don't know the law, and they used that against us. But please do visit our website and Facebook page, Advocacy Rights Network, and you can see these legal toolkits, which you can all use for your own benefit. It empowers you, the people, to act on behalf of yourselves. These are all written by lawyers back home in Northern Ireland. Now, so we put together legal toolkits on behalf of them, so people can empower themselves and advocate on behalf of themselves. And things like I said, jobs and face masks, and refusal treatment if you don't have a vaccine or PCR. We have worked with lawyers back in Northern Ireland, challenging the narrative and working on policy campaigns. We did manage to put pressure on the Children's Commissioner to end the masks in schools. Lawyers we also work closely with managed to get the jobs stopped for the children in schools back home in Northern Ireland. You can do it here.
Yes, Hendon.
When you don't understand the law, then you hand over power unnecessarily, making you vulnerable. Our aim is to help you understand the law around these issues and empowering yourself to advocate for yourself. As parents, we believe schools were acting in our children's best interests. We now know these people, they peddle agendas to act out influence on experimental gene treatments while ignoring the harms and mental health of our children. We have given this power away, and it's time we've given this power away and handed free rein to the government. It's time we take it back. Article 16 of the Human Declaration of Human Rights states, everyone has the right of recognition everywhere as a person before the law. This doesn't state race, sex or religion. It states a person, and equally your medical status shouldn't matter, or your right to informed consent. Article 7 states, everyone is equal under the law, and everyone's right without discrimination to equal protection under the law. All are entitled to equal protection under the law. All are entitled to equal protection of discrimination in violation of this discrimination and incitement to any discrimination. So I call upon all those within the media and the government to remember this. Parents, be aware of Vaccination UK Limited. We discovered that Vaccination UK, which are get into the schools across the UK, are a limited company. I've challenged this, okay? Now what they're doing, I don't know if you are aware of this. If your child does not have consent forms in schools regarding the jobs,
home education,
they will take your child down to that vaccination point on that day, and they will use Gaelic competence without you realising it. This is why we need to get informed as parents. They also use the NHS logo on these letters. How that got there, I have no idea. We've also recently had Jonathan Wiseman back in Northern Ireland, who runs a website called alltherisk.com. So he briefly put together a paper for me because I'm challenging our health minister back in Northern Ireland. What he did discover, and it's only very briefly, is a few points on the trials for the kids who from 5 to 11. During those clinical phase 3 trials, 1,700 kids took part. A small majority of those, a minority of those children ended up with severe temperatures of 40.4. That's life. Okay, that's life threatening. What they also discovered was one child ended up with myocarditis. Now our governments and our politicians know this, and they're hiding this from us. Okay, so it's time that we started to get ourselves informed and time we started to fight back. Some statistics since the vaccination programme started. We have seen rises in heart issues such as myocarditis and pericarditis. Over 200 peer-reviewed papers on myocarditis linked to the jabs. Why aren't our politicians, human rights organisations and equality commissions, why aren't they doing anything about this? Why are they not interested in this? Absolute disgrace. This is where we step in. We have to learn how to advocate on behalf of ourselves. We cannot depend on the state, and we cannot depend on the governmental bodies to do so. Nobody's going to come over the hill to save us. We have to save ourselves. Our government is trying to remove all our rights right from underneath our noses. We are facing the reform to the Human Rights Act, the Online Harms Bill, the Telecommunications and Security Bill, the Climate Bill, and also the Police Crime and Courts Bill. 139 stakeholders have agreed that the World Health Organization will take control of our countries when the next pandemic hits. Right there you have your new world order. Right there you have your global government. Are we going to stand for it? No! We need to act, and we need to act now. So now is the time to educate yourselves, guys, and learn how to empower yourself and advocate on behalf of the children, because our children need us, and it's very important that we do so. Thanks very much.
That was amazing! Thank you so much! Give it up for Dan! He's amazing! He's come all the way from Dr. Rainer Fjormek on the line right now from Germany. Give him a warm welcome. We love you, Doctor, and thank you so much for everything you are doing for humanity. And it will be coming very soon. Thank you guys for coming. What an amazing day it is today.
It is truly amazing to be able to speak to you today, my friends in the UK. It has been 2 years of continuous psychological terrorism accompanied by ever more blatant attacks on the rule of law and democracy as a whole. And yet we are here still, and ever more people are waking up to this ugly truth and joining us. Corona, as we now know, is one huge fraud. Yes, there is a virus, probably at least part man-made, but it is no more dangerous than the common flu, with a survival rate of 99.97%. It is not that virus which we must be afraid of. Rather, it is the so-called vaccines that we must be afraid of. They're neither effective nor are they safe. On the contrary, both in the UK and in Israel, close to 90% of the people who are hospitalized with COVID symptoms are twice vaccinated, many even boosted. What does this tell a reasonable person? That it is the so-called vaccines which make us sick and even kill us, because it injects the highly toxic spike protein directly into the body, bypassing the immune system, which would normally catch it where it normally attacks, at the mouth and the nose. It is a war that is being fought, and this time it is being fought not just against indigenous people, not just against the Jews or other parts of the population. No, this time it is a war against all of us, a war against humanity and even creation as a whole. It is being waged against all of us by a small group of super-rich psychopaths who want to gain complete control over us by forcing us, ultimately, to give up our national sovereignties and cultural and other identities, and to agree to a one-world government under their UN, accompanied by a one-world currency, a digital one, that mimics the Chinese social currencies. And now that our narrative is unraveling because of the war and the truth is coming out, many of them witness an industry who never will on this time. It is being fought and their politicians, and their mainstream media who lied to us about Corona and who are now telling us about the Ukraine. We know that there is another side to the story they're telling us. Despite the fact that all of us are very sad to see the destruction and mayhem and much, much worse going on in Ukraine, the fact that numerous American-financed bioweapon labs have been found.
Right, well, bit of a technical issue there, but give it up for Dr. Rainer Fjormek! We thank you and humanity thanks you! Do you know what? It's such a beautiful day today, and we're here standing for the children today. We will not cease protesting. We will not stop speaking out, even when we're censored, because these jabs for children are wrong, and that is what we're standing for today. Make some noise for the children, people! So right now we've got the amazing, talented author and writer and presenter, Gareth Ike. Make some noise!
Hello ladies and gentlemen. I was hoping for one of those Madonna headsets. but so Putin's cured the Rona then. I didn't realise that invading a neighbouring country would sort of cut the balls off the media on the old COVID narrative. If I'd known that 2 years ago, I'd have got a couple of tanks on eBay and headed up north. Normally I would prepare a speech and write down a few words, but I haven't done that today for two reasons. One, I've got a 6-month-old to keep me awake all night, so I'm being lazy. But the main reason is I just wanted to come and stand here and just say what comes into my heart while I'm stood here. And I can think of two things. One is that this isn't over. You obviously know that, that's why you're here. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that do believe it's over.
Man comes
Now,
right
Russia
in front of the
is
camera.
a distraction for sure. They were never going to report the Pfizer drop in the mainstream media, and they certainly aren't going to report it when they've got a war to focus on. So that's part of it. But also what comes out of Russia-Ukraine is exactly the same as what came out of COVID. It destroys us, it destroys society. And they use it as an excuse to put prices up and all that kind of stuff, and then you're going to have your cyber pandemic. That will come next. I know it sounds depressing. I'm going to get to some happy stuff as well in a bit. But I think it's important that we realise that it's not over, which is why events like this are great, and we stay organised, and we keep our networks like our Stand in the Parks and stuff like that together. So that's great that you guys are doing that. It's amazing. The second thing, and more importantly, is I just want to say thank you. If I'm honest, I just want to say thank you to every single one of you. And every single person at home as well. Every single person that stood up and fought tyranny. I really, I struggle to put it into words. March 2020 was a lonely time. But I want to say thank you from my heart and from my family to all of you, because it's not easy to stand up. You know, people lost their jobs, they faced this absolute psychological bombardment, they lost family members and friends as a result of the fact that they saw through this narrative. Now, with my surname, I'd lost all those people years ago, do you know what I mean? But I understand that it was really, really difficult for a lot of you, and yet you still stood firm, and that's incredible. So thank you so much. The reason why I'm thanking you really is that I know what's coming down the line, as we all do, that it is going to get worse before it gets better. There are dark times ahead, but the fact that you stood up and you fought back, that fills me with so much confidence that we can win this. Now, I never doubted for a minute that we could win this, but the fact that I'm looking at all you guys and you've stood up, 2 years of psychological bombardment and coercion, and you stood up and said no. That's amazing. That's amazing. We've built a brand new family now. Like, you're all my brothers and sisters. And I honestly don't see what they can throw at us that we can't take now. I honestly can't.
Hendon, see
they
you in a
are
bit.
cowards. And this is another thing as well, because people have been talking a lot on this stage about the things that are coming in terms of the policing bill, in terms of the online harms bill and stuff like that. And a lot of people seem to think that that's a show of strength from government. I think that's the absolute opposite of that. It's because they're terrified. The online harms bill is nothing more than shutting down the alternative media and shutting down people exposing tyranny. And the policing bill is nothing more than shutting down us protesting tyranny. Now, if they weren't frightened of us, they wouldn't have to shut that down. So I'll keep this brief. My wife's laughing somewhere at that. But it's just an honour to stand in front of you guys, and I have done for 2 years, travelling all around the country speaking to like-minded people, and it's amazing to be able to do that. It's an absolute honour and an absolute privilege. And we are going to win this. 100% we're going to win this. We just need to stand firm, we need to stand tall, as we have done for 2 years. And be kind, because people are awakening. They might not be here yet. They might have had 2 jabs, 3 jabs, 24 jabs, but they might not want the 25th one. And so we need to be kind to those people. We need to welcome those people in. Because these people in that building, for one, that are trying to instigate this Great Reset have instead instigated a Great Awakening. And it's an amazing time to be alive. As much as it doesn't feel like that at times, it's an amazing time to be alive. And we chose this as well. Don't forget that. We chose to be here at this time in history. Because we knew we could win this. I hate losing. So I don't think I'd have decided to come here if I thought we were going to lose. Now I'll just leave you with this football analogy. And this ties into the fact that I believe we chose this. If someone said to you, you can have one game for England, you can play one football match for England, and that's it. Now you get to decide every single thing that happens in that game. Would you pick an 8-1 win against Trinidad and Tobago? No, you wouldn't. Be Germany, probably. 2-0 down, you pull one back, they get another goal, you miss a penalty, get a player sent off, you manage to get into extra time, then they score, then you equalise, the last minute goes to penalties, and you think to yourself, just win 4-0, mate. But that's what we do as humans. And I believe that's what we're doing now, and that's why we chose to come here to fight this tyranny. And it's hard, and it's difficult, and there's sometimes I wake up and I just think, you know what, I cannot be bloody arsed for this today. But we dust ourselves on, and we fight on. And thank you so much to everyone for doing that for 2 years. I love every single one of you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well done to Gareth Knight. Give it up for Gareth. Give it up. A living legend. And shout out to David. We love you, David and Gareth. What an amazing day it's been so far. Are you guys going to get ready to march soon? We need to be loud and we need to be proud. Make some noise for freedom, people! Thank you! Freedom! We're gonna make some noise! Because if we're not loud, there's no point in us being out today! So thank you so much, guys! It's not just over yet. So guys, I'm now going to introduce an amazing woman who has put this rally together today. She has worked tirelessly for over 2 years with thanks and little thanks from others. She is an amazing, epic woman, and this is Fiona Hyde. Make some noise for Fiona, people! Okay guys, I think most of you know that I don't usually speak in public, but I wanted to thank everyone today for still coming out, because all of you know it is not over yet. Well, no, it's not. We've got the online arms bill, the DCCS bill, everything they're still doing to us, and they're still jamming the children. And we don't want that. And that's why we need to stand. And we're not going to do that.
Sorry about the wind, guys.
So if this sound works,
More than that. Right guys, I stayed for the music. Right, the protesters have now started to march. The protesters have now started to march. So this is going to be the end of part 1 of the live stream. I'll be back in a little while. I'm going to change the setup, get off the bike, and sort myself out. Hungry, so I'm gonna quickly have some sandwiches that I've got, and then I'm gonna go back to live streaming again, guys. So thank you to everybody for joining the stream today. Thank you to everybody for bashing the like button and putting 1 in the chat. Thank you to all the donators, really appreciate it. Yeah, so this is part 1 of the coverage today of the freedom protest. Part 2 will start within the next half an hour. So see you all soon.